It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. Great to have you in studio with us today. We're going to be talking elections. There's one coming up on August 26th and I think a larger election coming up in November. Yavapai County Recorder Leslie Hoffman in studio today and Chief Deputy Recorder Karen McCracken. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the studio again.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Elections coming up August 26th. Maybe the first thing we should do is throw out a few dates because they're coming up pretty quick, deadlines for folks that want to participate in the 26th election.
Last day to register, 28th. That's the first date coming up. So
28th.
If you are not registered, you need to be registered. If you've moved, you must re-register, change your name. So
that's important right there if you've moved, right?
Very important.
Okay.
A lot of people don't realize that they need to change their voter registration records. They can go online. They can fill out a form at the office. They can send it in. We have an office over here in Cottonwood on 6th Street or our Fair Street office in Prescott.
Now, if my last name changes, do I have to re-register?
Yes, you do.
That's another one.
Yes.
Okay.
Marriage, divorce, just name change.
Okay.
Yes.
That's the 28th. What else we got coming up?
Early voting starts on the 31st.
Okay, I know we've been talking about that one because you must have sent something out while I was on vacation. So.
Yeah, we did. Back in May, we sent out a mailer to everybody in the county who's a registered voter. Got a new voter registration card, and included a pamphlet of information, important dates, the different offices that are up for election. Ballots will be going out around the 31st of July.
Okay.
You can also early vote. If you're going on vacation, don't want to wait for your ballot, you can come into our Cottonwood office or our office in Prescott and vote early in person. And you can do that up until the Friday before the election.
And that's gotten really popular.
Oh, yes.
Early voting is huge.
Huge.
Huge in our
statewide and even bigger in our county.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 67% on our permanent early voter list, so they automatically get a ballot for every election that they qualify for. And then another 10% come in and vote early, or they call and just say, I'm going to be gone. I usually go into the vote center, and then we send them a ballot.
Okay.
So we only have about 25% of our voters that show up at vote centers on election day now.
Oh, wow. Well, that's really small.
Yes.
Very small.
Is it expensive to run vote centers? Yeah.
It is. It's less expensive than how we used to run elections.
Oh, yeah?
By precinct. We needed more precincts because you could only go to one place to vote. So now...
That's changed, right?
Yes, it has.
Tell me about that change, because was that last year we changed that, or a couple years now?
In 2010 is when we started the vote
Time
center.
flies.
Yeah, right? Yeah, we started the vote center concept in 2010, which was great because you didn't have to go to one place to vote. If you lived, let's say you live in Sedona, but you're going to be in Cottonwood, you can vote in Cottonwood. We'll be able to get your ballot that you would vote.
See, that's nice.
It's really nice.
Great. It's a great convenience. Everybody loves it.
Yes.
Everybody loves it.
Okay, August 26th is the election coming up.
Yes.
There are some contested races that are coming up.
Yes.
Is it just county seats that are up for election on August 26th?
County and state.
Okay.
We have a lot of state. Our governor, treasurer, some legislators, congressmen, senator.
It's a
Yes.
primary
It's a primary.
for county
Yes.
and state elections
County
going
and
on.
state
Okay.
elections, yes.
Now, I think something else we want to make sure we got out is that some folks will say, well, I'll just, once we weed through the primary candidates, I'll just vote for the primary, which primary candidate I think should, win during the general and only participate in the November election. And we've talked about this in years past.
Yes.
I think Anna Wayman Trujillo was here. We've talked about this in the past as well. But that's not always the case. No.
A lot of elections are decided in the primary.
Right.
So it's very, very important to get out and vote in the primary because you might miss that opportunity. Thinking you'll wait until November, you might miss the opportunity to vote on the person that you want to because they've already won as of in the primary.
Now, is
Or
it,
not.
if there's just two candidates in the primary, say one Republican, one Democrat, I mean, right there, that could be finished up right on the spot? Or is that not the case? Will they both move on? See, that's what confuses me all the time is who's done with the election, but then who moves on?
Well, during a primary, each party has their own ballot.
Okay.
So they have a list of candidates or people are running against each other in that party normally. If there's only one candidate for that office for that party, yes, you know, it makes sense that they would move on to the November election and they would compete against each other on that one ballot.
Gotcha.
But, you know, we do have a full candidate list for the Republicans, obviously for the governor race, treasurer's race. And the Democrats, I think, have a couple of candidates in certain races. I know the school superintendent, state school superintendent, has a couple of Democrats. So it is important. Take a look at your ballot. If you're a Republican, Democrat, whatever party you are. Now, the most important thing for us here in our county is we have a lot of independents. Independents can vote in the primary. You just have to tell us which ballot you would like to vote. There's a lot of confusion. I think independents think they can get every ballot, a Republican ballot, Democratic ballot, Libertarian ballot. That's not the case. You must choose the ballot that you would like to vote.
Okay, so whichever candidate you like for the primary,
Right.
we need to let you know and say, hey, send me the Democratic ballot, send me the Republican ballot.
Right.
Correct.
And part of the notice that went out in May to the independents on the permanent early voter list, there was a tear off on the bottom for them to designate a party ballot and send it back to us. If you have forgotten to do that, people can call, let us know. We just make sure that we're talking to you when you call in, and we will send you the ballot of your choice, but we will not automatically, we can't choose for you. So you have to let us know. But this year also the Libertarian Party, they had a closed primary, they're open, so you can choose any of the 4 ballots, but just be sure that you are versed on who is on the ballot. We always get people, they declare a ballot, and they get it, and there's nobody on it because there's nobody running in that party.
Right, right.
And then they want to change, and once you've made your decision, you can't go back.
Is there a deadline to when I need to tell you that I want this ballot or that ballot if I'm an independent?
Yeah, I think the last day to order a ballot is August 15th.
August
You have
15th.
up until August 15th. That's the
To-
last
to-
day.
If you're
that we
doing
can-
mail.
Yeah, if you're doing vote by mail.
Okay.
If you're going into the vote center, you just tell them. The poll worker will ask you, when they see that you're an independent, they'll ask you which ballot you would like.
A piece of cake.
Yes.
And that'll be August 26th
Yes.
from 6 a.m.?
6 a.m.
6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay.
And if you are in line at 7 p.m., you still get to vote.
Okay. It's whoever's last in line. That's when the
Right.
cutoff is at 7 p.m. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Correct.
That makes sense.
Now, there are 4 qualified parties I want to mention too
Okay.
in Arizona. The Americans Elect, the Democrats, Libertarian, and a Republican ballot.
Okay.
Okay, so those are the 4 recognized parties in the state that you can choose from.
Let me ask you this. Is there a, let's say we can't attend a candidates forum, or maybe all the candidates aren't going to be at the forum. Is there a really good way to research all the candidates for each office? Is there a general location, or do you pretty much have to know who the candidates are and go to their site?
The best thing to do, I would say, especially at your state level, is go to the Secretary of State. There you'll get their names, and then you can go to their websites. But
Gotcha.
at least you'll get all their names from Secretary of State's website for state. And then, of course, for county, you can go to our website, get all the people's names.
Got it. Okay.
And then
That's good.
Yeah, that way you have their names.
Right.
You can research them and figure out
Research, yeah.
what their stance is, their
Right.
position. Okay.
Right.
All right. We have to take a first break already.
Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
was quick.
Yavapai County Recorder Leslie Hoffman in studio today. Chief Deputy Recorder Karen McCracken in studio. I'm Paul David. This is Countywide, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. You can't control where it will land, only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how to protect your community from wildfires.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. You can't control where it will land, only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how to protect your community from wildfires.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. You can't control where it will land, only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how to protect your community from wildfires.
Congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now.
Well, have you tried saving?
Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're talking about the upcoming election on August 26th, and of course we'll have another election coming up in November. Yavapai County Recorder Leslie Hoffman in studio today, as well as Chief Deputy Recorder Karen McCracken. All right, we talked about some of the dates coming up that are important.
Yes.
August 26th, of course, is the big day.
Yes.
And this is not so much of, I think what might confuse some people too is that a lot of elections now, we just sit at home and the ballot comes in the mail and we fill it out. I remember when that started, it was so nice, especially for the elections department. But that's not the case for this one. I mean, if you've got your early voter ballot coming to you, then of course you're at your leisure at home to fill it out and get it back to you. But on election day, how's that one being handled this year?
At our vote centers.
Vote centers?
Vote centers, we have 30 of them countywide.
Okay.
Since only 25% of our voters go to the polls now. Most everybody is either on the permanent early voter list or call and vote early. We have 30 of them countywide. There's a list on our website. Mm-hmm. We'll leave a list here with you, and you can vote anywhere in the county. If I'm here speaking with you on election day, I live in Chino Valley, I can vote here. So that's, people just need to go into their vote centers and vote at any of our 30 locations.
It seems so simple. Why wasn't it done that way all the time? Maybe that's a silly question.
Yeah. Technology.
Yeah.
It was one of the reasons.
And law.
Law.
Yeah, and law.
Yeah, for as long as I can remember, you voted at your polling place, in your precinct, near your home. Right. But as technology has changed and the voting itself has changed to go more vote by mail, it's very expensive to do on-ground elections. We call them by mail or on-the-ground elections.
The goal has always been to, I guess, make voting easier and easier and easier, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and franchise as many people and make it as convenient as possible.
Because these days it's all about here and now.
True.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yes.
Yeah. But when we go to the polls this year and we show up at the door and stand in line for a little while, with only 25% of voters in the county, you're not going to be standing in line for long. The machines will be different.
Yes.
Right?
We have new voting equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it's going to be a different look. We're still going to have our electronic poll books at our vote centers. That's actually what makes our vote centers work, is our electronic poll books. So when you come in, you'll still have to show ID like normal. If you don't have a picture ID that shows your current address, you will be asked to provide another form of ID. You could do 2 pieces of ID without your photograph that shows your current address, like a utility bill or a bank statement, dated within the 90 days. Once you have proven your who you are, you'll get the ballot that you can vote. It'll be printed right there at the vote center, so we don't have stacks of ballots sitting around, which is a cost-saving effort that we've been doing since 2010.
Okay.
The other change that you will see is that we have a new touch screen, and it's ADA compliant. It's a little different look than we've had in the past. This particular machine will print out the ballot when you're done so that you can deposit it in the ballot box. We will not have scanners in the polling place. You will also have a option to vote a paper ballot too. So you can vote on this machine, or you can get a paper ballot printed out for you. You vote it, and then you're going to put it in a scannerless ballot box. And those ballots will be taken back to our central counting location at the end of the night, and they'll be counted in our Prescott office on Fair Street.
Now, is that normal to not scan them? I thought that was kind of a big deal recently, because we could get those numbers like that by the end of the day. Even like the touch screen, once you push the vote you want to make, that's logged in someplace, then you can just download that information.
Yeah, we will not have tabulations at the vote centers now, like we've had in the past.
Okay, that's different then, right?
Oh, yes, very different. Yes, we wanted to go to, well, we needed new equipment, even though HAVA was passed after the 2000 election, the Help America Vote Act was passed, saying that all counties had to go to, get away from the paper, the punch cards, they had to go to some sort of a scanner type device. Yavapai County had been using them since 1998. So when other counties had up until 2004 and to get them, we'd already been using them for 6 years. So our equipment was older. It's getting ready to have its sweet 16 birthday. And we knew that we needed to start looking at new equipment, doing something a little bit different. And with keeping budget in mind, we had chose to go this way. And not only that, you're talking about instant results. With 75% of our votes coming in by mail or early voting, those are tabulated by the end of election day. All of those have been in and tabulated. So we're only waiting for 25% to come in, and our new scanners are high-speed scanners. So as they're coming in from all the vote centers, they'll be processed, and the count then will, they'll be put through our high-speed counters.
So you have somebody at every polling place that once 7 o'clock hits, as soon as the last vote's in, they scoop them up, bring them to the main office in Prescott, right?
Transported, yes.
Yeah. Do they tally them in Cottonwood and in Prescott, or do they all go to the Prescott office?
They will all go to the Prescott office.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. You mentioned ID when we get to the bifurcation. We wanted to make sure we talked about bifurcation. Tell me a little bit about that, because that's something we want to make sure we hit on here today.
Right. Fortunately, we don't have a whole lot of federal voters in Yavapai County. We have 61, but after the lawsuit was finally settled for the proof of citizenship, and through several appeals, it was determined that Arizona has to take the federal form. But on that form, all you sign is an affidavit saying, yes, I'm a citizen. Arizona had passed the law back in 2004 saying you have to prove citizenship. So if you register to vote and you use a Arizona form, you have to prove citizenship. But if you register to vote on the federal form, you do not. You just sign. And our AG, our Attorney General's opinion was, if they did not prove citizenship and we were not able to acquire it by the information given, because we do everything we can to make sure you can vote a full ballot, but if we can't do that and you haven't provided us the information, you will only get to vote on federal elections.
Okay.
And like right now we only have 61 people. And we send, when we get in the federal forms, and if we can't prove citizenship by the information you've given us, it's a pretty simple form. There's not a lot of information you have to provide. We send a letter and say, this is what is going to happen if we cannot prove citizenship, and we explain the ramifications. And most of the people go, oh, I had no idea. And so they send in what we need. They just look at the two forms and go, well, this one's a lot easier. I'll fill this one out.
Okay. All right. That's simple.
Yes. But it has created a whole new system called a bifurcated system, because we're doing regular ballots and then we're doing federal-only ballots.
Something changes every year in elections. It seems like it. And that's why we have you come in, because there are changes every year, it seems like.
A lot of changes.
The other change was that this is our first year with consolidated elections. So on your ballot, you will also find city, local elections on these ballots, where normally they've been on the odd years. I think you're talking about your ballot automatically coming in the odd years. Yes, we always did vote by mail for those local elections. Was more convenient for everyone. But now they're going to be on our even-numbered years.
Yeah, and then on the November ballot.
So the ballot will be longer.
Let's take a break. We've got to take our second break already. We're talking with the Yavapai County Elections Department today. Stick around. Countywide, we'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Time to wake up. I've got a job to do today.
I've got a job to do today.
Don't forget, you've got a job to do today.
Hey, Mom. I got the job. Thanks.
Got the job.
Welcome aboard.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in your community.
Feels good to start fresh, right?
Sure does. And like that, you're a job creator.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
Welcome back to Countywide. Just a couple minutes left in the program. We want to talk. August 26th is our primary. We've got that one nailed down. So all that voting is going to be taking place very soon. Now, November ballot is going to be huge, and I totally forgot about that. But it's going to be a big one.
Yes.
How big is big?
Well, we'll have all your county candidates that are moving on to the general, all your state, but then all of the local also, because of the consolidated elections law that was passed, stating that if you have a candidate on the ballot, you must run them on the even number years in the fall, where most of our cities and towns ran them in the spring or odd year in the fall. So if you're not a city, charter city.
Okay.
If you don't, the charter cities did bring suit on that, and they won. If you're a charter city, you can still have them on any of the other 4 dates. But if you're not, you have to run with the federal, state, and county in the fall and the even year.
And you said during the break that the local stuff is going to be at the bottom of the ballot. The federal stuff will be up here, and then what is it? The county races
Federal,
middle.
County.
And then
Federal, state, county.
Okay.
Yes, and then local, and that was.
Don't forget your locals. That's what we want to. Right. Don't forget your locals.
Right. We had a meeting with. Well, we've been having a lot of meetings with a lot of the city clerks and the people who work the elections, and they said they wanted to start a campaign bottoms up.
Bottoms up.
Yeah. Start at the end of your ballot, especially for your local elections, so people don't miss those, because those affect you so much.
I remember talking about this, that people might get a little ballot exhausted, just voting exhausted. So we'll see how this plays out in November, and it'll be kind of curious to see how much the ballot's filled out. Do I have to fill out the whole ballot to make it count?
No.
Real quick? No?
Vote for what you want.
Vote for what you want. So if I don't like any candidate in this particular area, I don't have to check that box up, because we were talking back in school, multiple choice. You had to make sure you had to fill all of it out. But you were saying it's very important for people to know that if they don't like any of the candidates, they don't have to vote for any of the candidates. They can leave it blank and move on.
But what they vote for will still count.
Right. So I guess we better have a good Saturday morning, Sunday morning to sit down and do the whole. Are we going to be able to have the ballot? Is it going to be polling places again? During the November election, right? But if I vote early by mail, then I can get that ballot at home, that big ballot, and be able to sit at home and go through it.
And that'll have your propositions on it.
Okay, propositions as well.
Yeah.
Correct. Right.
Oh yeah, it's going to be.
Those are popping up. School bonds, things like that are happening as well.
Well, we did those.
Okay.
But there'll be, I believe it's 3 propositions.
Three propositions.
November, I believe is what I heard at state level. Yes.
Okay. All right. We're out of time. Yavapai County Recorder, Leslie Halfman, good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Karen McCracken, very good to see you as well. That's today's Countywide. I'm Paul David, and we will talk to you again next time.